YouTube, what is happening? I am back for another video, and today we're doing Sports Talk with Camden once again. Now, if you have not noticed, I'm trying to upload 3 YouTube videos a week to this channel. So there's going to be Sports Talk, there's going to be other gaming content that you could see on Wednesday and Friday. So if you like that, go show those videos some love, and subscribe to the channel, do all that stuff, because it really helps, makes me feel good inside, makes me feel like the work I'm putting out is worth it. Today, I'm talking about the Western Conference Finals and the Eastern Conference Finals, and boy, we're about 4 or 5 hours removed from that Celtics beatdown on the 76ers. So let's start with that. The Celtics take on the Miami Heat. I believe it is Wednesday at 8:30. You can correct me if I'm wrong. This series is going to be very interesting because Miami's got a couple days of rest on them, and I think that's going to play a factor. They're going to be in Boston. Obviously, Boston's already favored by 7.5 in that game on Wednesday, which I think is way too much. All right, Miami, way more physical. They're going to beat you up. And obviously the Celtics do have that ability to go on that great spurt they went on in the third quarter. But if I were a betting man, which I'm not, I would probably bet on the Miami Heat to cover that and even win that game. I believe Miami is going to go into Boston and take game 1 just because they've got a little bit extra rest on them, and they didn't really have to use a lot of energy against the New York Knicks. Now, I know that sounds crazy because the Knicks took them to 6, and the Knicks did put up a great fight, but look at the points scored by Miami. I know they were the lowest scoring team throughout the NBA. I think they averaged something like 110 points. In this series against New York, they didn't break that once. They didn't score above 110, and they still beat them in 6. And if you look around, Jimmy Butler didn't really have that game like he had in the first series, where he dropped 56 points, 40-something points against Milwaukee. And I think that could either be because of his injury to his ankle or because he might have been saving himself for Boston, because he saw, all right, let's be real, I'm facing New York. No disrespect to New York. I got my Cavs jersey on right now, so obviously they were the better team. They beat Cleveland. But, I think Miami knew that they could kind of not coast through the series, but not have to score 55 points and win each game. So Miami, well rested. Jimmy's going to get that ankle back to being fully healthy, 100% healthy for him. And I believe that they're going to be able to take game 1 against the Celtics. I'm not going to give my full predictions yet on that series. We'll get into that in a little bit. Now, Boston, who's coming off a very impressive Game 7 win against the Doc Rivers-led Philadelphia 76ers. And now, going into that game, I thought it would be a Joel Embiid legacy game. I might be a little bit of a Celtics hater, but Celtics were obviously the better team. In order for the Sixers to win this series, they were going to have to win 3 games on the road, which I think people, if going into that series you knew, you would have been like, that's not happening. So credit to the Sixers, but the process, I'm not trusting it. It's over. Great run by the MVP and by James Harden, who combined for, I believe, 24 points today. Not great. Not the best performance by your 2 stars. That third quarter was insane when Boston, who started the quarter up by 3, I had just gotten back from a bike ride and I turned it on and they couldn't miss. And this is something that they did in game 2 as well. When they needed to respond, they did. There's something missing with the Celtics. It's that Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum dynamic that I feel like this is the year that they need to get over that hump, because they've been the best, second, or third best team in the East the last 4 years, but yet they only have 1 finals appearance to show. There was that one year when Toronto made it, and then the next year Milwaukee made it, or Miami, I can't remember, vice versa. And then they obviously made it last year to the finals. So if they don't make it this year, it's time to do something there to that duo, because while I think Tatum and Brown are great, they're fantastic players, they're good, but they're not Shaq and Kobe. They're not able to get over that hump. They're not able to win a championship, and I think Boston is accustomed to championships, even though they haven't won one in, 15, 16 years. So it's time to do something if they don't win this series. Moving out west, I'm going to go start with the Nuggets and Suns, because I think after game 2, a lot of people thought that this could be a sweep. And now credit to the Suns, because they battled back and won games 3 and 4 without Chris Paul, but it was due to Devin Booker and Kevin Durant playing lights out, especially Devin Booker, who was shooting 80% from the field in those 2 games. So I think a lot of us knew that wasn't going to happen in the next couple of games. And even though he didn't play terribly in game 5, he was off in game 6, and it really hurt. Monty Williams out the door. I know there's 2 sides of the story where, hey, he won Coach of the Year. Hey, they've had a winning record the last couple of years. He's been really good. in reference to his win-loss record. But you look at the Game 7 against Dallas last year at home. You look at the Game 6 at home where they've just been blown out by Dallas and by Denver. And maybe there's something off there. I'm not a GM or an owner, so I can't see it. But somebody's got to be to blame, and Monty caught the blame for this. So their season is over, and they're going to look to find a new coach, maybe a Nick Nurse. Nuggets get an extra one-day rest over the Lakers, which I don't think is as big as a deal that everyone's making it to be. Now, I've been told the altitude is something to actually take a look at, and maybe it is. So, I don't know. But now we go to the last series, which was the Lakers versus the Warriors. Great season by the defending champs to make the Western Conference Semifinals, even though they were kind of underwhelming. Couldn't really win road games throughout the year, and in this series, they were 0-3 on the road. So, is it time to break them up? Not what we're here to argue. Maybe we can do that next week or 2 weeks from now. Lakers move on. Lakers get to play the Nuggets, and it just felt in this series that it was reminding me of this guy right here of, let me sit up a little bit, of 2017, 2018 LeBron, when he just had the ability to take over a series. And I don't know if he could do it against Denver, but it's something that if it happened, I think we'd all just remember, like, of course LeBron did it because he's been doing it for 20 years. And while he can't do it to the same level that he did in 2016, 2017, even earlier than that, he still showed in Game 6 a couple days ago that he has the ability to score 39-9 and take over a game. So let's go back to the East. Game 1 predictions. I am going to pick Miami to win that game. They got a couple more days of rest. Jimmy should be a little more healthy. I think Eric Spoelstra is probably the best coach we have left in the playoffs. One of the smartest guys in our league. And I think they go into Boston. I think they win Game 1. Boston has a super emotional series. They've played 13 games already this playoffs, as opposed to the Miami Heat's, doing math off the top of my head, 11. So maybe those 2 games make a difference. A little bit more rest for Miami, able to get healthy. Long travel up to Boston, but I think Spoelstra is going to have his guys ready to go. And Jimmy kind of got to save his energy against New York, it seemed like. Didn't have to put up 30 points in every single game. So maybe we see him come back with his 35, 8, and 8 that we've seen plenty of times. So Miami, Game 1. I think they're going to shock some people there, win a couple games that people were like, wow, this is a series, kind of like the Sixers just did. But overall in that series, I'm going to go with the Celtics in 7. I know. I'm a little bit of a Celtics hater, but I think Miami's going to be tough. I think Miami is a tough team. They're very physical, and they're going to win a couple games that people are like, whoa, that was surprising. I mean, you look at that Milwaukee series that they just won. Those, 2 or 3 games in a row where they were down by 11 in the fourth quarter, and out of nowhere they're up by 5, where they go on crazy 17-2 runs, and you're like, oh yeah, Jimmy Butler's that guy. So I think we're going to see 1 or 2 of those. Miami's got some guys that can hit some shots with Victor Oladipo, Kyle Lowry, Max Strus, Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero might be coming back. That's something to look out for. And then, of course, I'm missing one. Kevin Love. Did I say Kevin Love? I might have. I don't even know. Boston in 7. They get back to the finals. And on the West, the smart guys are telling you to pick Denver, I believe. I don't know what the line is, but Game 1, they are favored to win, obviously, up in that altitude, going up into the Denver mountains. But I'm going to go with the Lakers in Game 1 as well. I think LeBron knows that the recipe to winning is win at least one of these games on the road. Win every single game at home in the series and win one of these games on the road. And you could try to win every single series in 6 or 7, but you have to win at home, especially, and try to win one of the first 2 games at home. Anthony Davis didn't really blow people away offensively a couple days ago, but still 20 rebounds, couple blocks, 15 plus points. So Lakers going to be okay. Austin Reeves was hitting. D'Lo, a couple other guys. Lonnie hit a little bit at the end there. So Rui Hachimura had a nice little bucket. So Lakers win Game 1. The series, I want to pick Denver in 6, but I'm not going to because I'm going to go bias, and I'm going to go with my LeBron James pick. I'm going to go Lakers in 6 again. Now Denver, they get to play against the 2-time MVP. Sorry, the Lakers get to play against the 2-time MVP, Nikola Jokic, and he's probably the quietest 40 points you've ever seen in your life. I was watching a game against the Suns where I think they blew him out by 20 or something like that, and he had 39 and 16. It was like, where did that come from? I see every bucket he scored. It was just little layups, and I thought, okay, he probably has 22, 7, and 7, and he's got like 40 and 20. So truly, respect to Jokic, I just don't think LeBron is willing to rest. I think LeBron knows this is the end of the road here, or at least one of the last final years that he's going to have a chance to try to get closer with MJ, which is going to propel him to another series victory, even though he just broke that record. And we get a rematch of the Lakers and the Celtics. Now, last thing we're going to do today is go into my top 6 impactful players left in the playoffs. Not necessarily best, because I think if we were just doing best players overall, it would be a little bit different. And now, what do I mean by impactful? I don't know. Guys that could take over a game, guys that single-handedly affect the way that a team will run their game. Number 6, Jaylen Brown. Number 5, LeBron James. I'm going to get those two out of the way because I feel like in spurts, both can be great. But, like, you might get a Jaylen Brown 30-point game, but you also might get a Marcus Smart 30-point game. You also might get a Jamal Murray 30-point game. Jaylen Brown's scary with a mask on. Great number 2 punch to Jason Tatum. Just sometimes he could be a little bit off. Usually starts pretty strong in the first quarter and then fades a little bit out after that. So we'll see if he doesn't fade to black for the rest of the game. Still think he's probably the 6th best player left in the playoffs. 5th, LeBron James, like I said. Still has the ability to get 39 and 9, as we saw a couple days ago. Now, 4 through 1 is where it gets a little closer. Number 4, I got to see where I want to go with this. I'm going to go with the guy that just scored 50 in Game 7. Super impressive, Jason Tatum. Again, kind of the same thing where we've seen a lot of inconsistency in the last couple of games throughout the first couple of quarters. And I think it's something he's going to clean up. He's going to fix. But as of right now, put him at number 4. Number 3, Nikola Jokic, the guy who probably should have won MVP this year. Again, has the ability to take over a game. He has the ability to give you the quietest 40-point triple-double and win a game by 20. And you look back and you're like, what happened? Now, number 2 and number 1, super close. Number 2, I'm going to go with Jimmy Butler. This one is a lot tougher than people expect. I just think number 1, Anthony Davis, is when he's healthy, when he's on the floor. I mean, you look when he's off the floor and the Lakers have no perimeter defense, no interior defense, where guys are just easy layups for the Warriors. Draymond's running through the lane, loosey-goosey, and being able to finish 9 out of 10 times. So interior presence, Anthony Davis gets number 1. Number 2, like I said, Jimmy Butler. Now, Jimmy Butler, love his game. Think he's probably still super underrated, even though people are like, oh yeah, Jimmy's in the playoffs. That's what happens. So let me go 6-1 again. Number 6, Jaylen Brown. Number 5, LeBron James. Number 4, Jason Tatum. Number 3, Nikola Jokic. Number 2, Jimmy Butler. And number 1, for the most impactful player left in the playoffs, it's going to come down to Anthony Davis. Now, again, I'm going Lakers in 6, and I'm going Celtics in 7. If you enjoyed, if you disagree, if you hate my picks, please let me know in the comments and show me some love because, you know, on that content grind. So please let me know what you think of the videos. Thank you all for stopping by. Y'all have a great night. Bye-bye.